Good morning, everybody. We're live here from the birdhouse. We are getting towards the end of September already. And with that, we'll have some different migratory birds coming through the area. So as always, we love to know what kind of things you are seeing. You can throw those in the comments. If you have questions, you can put those in there too. Or you can just say hi. We do have some things going on here at the birdhouse. If you are in the local Rochester or upstate New York area, we have our bird feeder cleaning, our free tube feeder cleaning event is going on this week. The big event is on Saturday, but we are collecting feeders all week long. So you can drop off your bird feeders. We will clean them for you and we will give you a call when they're all done. So usually we get about 600 or so. So there is a lot to be done as far as that goes. But we are collecting those all this week. So that is completely free. We are collecting donations, however, for Braddock Bay Raptor research if you would like to donate. So we've got that going on. We have our jigsaw puzzle swap going on this weekend as well. That's always very popular. And our photo contest judging is happening now also. So if you are in the area, absolutely stop in. We've got not quite 300 photos, but close to it that came in for our annual photo contest. And we have our professional judges coming in to judge that. And we also have customers' choice voting. So you can come in and choose your favorite in each category. The winners of the customer choice category get prizes as well as the winners who the judges have chosen. So we give away a lot of prizes for the photo contest. And so the photo contest judging will go through Sunday. So we've got that going on as well. Bird migration, fall migration is happening and it's been happening. Orioles, we're really not hearing any reports of orioles still in the area. So they are going to be gone until next year. We'll start hearing reports of them late April, but really early May is when they will start coming back. And some hummingbirds are still being sighted in the area, although they are starting to fizzle too. But some people are still getting some of the hummingbirds just kind of floating through, especially if they're coming from further up north. So throughout the rest of the month, we'll hear some reports of hummingbirds, but they're really fizzling as well. But other birds will start to come in, like sparrows and some other things like some different types of waterfowl, different types of birds. On average, in September, in our area, at least where I am in Western New York, about 218 different species can be found here. And then as we go into October, usually there's a little bit less, about 205 species on average can be seen in the area. So there's still a lot of different things that you can see, still a lot of diversity around, especially around the lakes as different gulls and waterfowl will come in, and we'll get to those in a bit. Chipping sparrow. So there are some different types of sparrows that you'll be able to see now and throughout the fall. And as we go into winter, that'll change a little bit too. Right now, there are still some chipping sparrows being seen in the area. These are small birds with a little chestnut cap on the top of their head and a black line that goes through their eye. There are still some around, but they are also migratory. So they're going to go a little bit further south for the winter. So you might still see some of these underneath your feeders, especially when they are migrating. They're quite hungry. So the chipping sparrows you'll most likely see underneath your feeders. And that goes for quite a few of these different sparrows that I'll show. So if you've got a kind of seed blend that has, this could be sunflower hearts or even some millet in it, that's not bad this time of the year because even if the birds are throwing some of it on the ground, birds like these chipping sparrows and things like white-throated sparrows and white-crowned sparrows will eat those remnants off the ground. So chipping sparrows are on their way out, but American tree sparrows will be on their way in. They look kind of similar to that chipping sparrow because they have that chestnut colored cap on the top of their head, but the stripe that goes through their eye is also kind of a chestnut brown color. And they have what's called a bicolored bill. The top of their bill is black, and then the bottom part is yellow. So the American tree sparrow we will have here in the winter. So you can find them here throughout those months. So as the chipping sparrows go down south, the American tree sparrows are coming from further north down here for the wintertime. Look for fox sparrow underneath feeders, or if you've got shrubs, especially you can hear them as they go through the leaf litter. They will look for different food that can be found underneath leaves. So usually you can hear them kind of shuffling through, almost like a northern flicker will on the ground, looking for some different food. The fox sparrow are quite large. They kind of have a little bit of a pot belly thing going on. So they will be migrating through the area too. White-throated sparrow, we'll start to see and hear more white-throated sparrow coming through, as well as white-crowned sparrow. So be on the lookout. These are not uncommon birds to have in your backyard this time of the year. And as we get a little bit further into the fall, look for them because they are quite commonly found in backyards. And we'll start to hear more reports of dark-eyed junco. So far, I haven't seen any yet, but it's only a matter of days, I would think, until we start to hear those first reports of dark-eyed junco starting to come back into the area in some bigger numbers. So if you have any kind of bird feeder up, I'm sure you've seen a dark-eyed junco at some point. They tend to feed off the ground also. They're very gray with a white belly and that pink little bill. Some other things you might see flowing through the area, not necessarily in your backyard, but if you are out birding, are going to be things like Lincoln sparrow that have a very small bill. They're very gray in color, especially gray in the face. And if you look closely around its eye, they have what's called a pale eye ring. So they do have a ring that goes all the way around their eye, which is pale in color. And they have what's called a buffy wash on their breast. So it's kind of, it's not quite white and it's not quite brown. It's a little bit of it in between called the buffy wash on their breast. Swamp sparrow, if you're by any kind of water, especially anything with cattails, look for the swamp sparrow. They have a very gray colored face, rusty cap on the top of their head, a dark line that goes through their eye. And they're also, they have a very reddish brownish color, reddish brownish coloring. So keep an eye out for them, especially by the water is where you're most likely to see swamp sparrow. And then other people are seeing some warblers, things like orange-crowned warblers will flow through the area. Ruby-crowned kinglet, we'll start to hear more reports about them. You might see them in your backyard, especially as they're migrating through, and we'll have them here throughout the winter months. You don't always see that ruby-crowned cap on the top of their head, but they will sometimes flare it out so they look like this. And then we'll also have golden-crowned kinglet flying through the area. Not so much to backyard feeders, but if you've got any kind of trees and shrubs in your backyard, keep an eye out for these little guys bouncing through. Hermit thrush, not super common in the winter, but more common in backyards during this migration season. If you see something that looks almost like a robin as far as its body shape, but it's very speckly, take a better look because it could very well be a hermit thrush. And they do have this kind of cinnamon reddish colored tail, which is a pretty distinguishing characteristic there of the hermit thrush. Other thrushes are not going to have that reddish colored tail. And winter wren. The house wrens are on their way out. Carolina wrens will be here all winter, but we'll also have this little tiny guy called the winter wren, which is really cute. And you might see common nighthawk migrating through even during the day. This is a bird that's technically more nocturnal, but during migration, they will be active during the day. They have quite long wings. And so if you see something, either if you see a bird that has kind of longish wings, but it's not a kestrel, it's not a merlin, and it's got these white patches underneath, that is very likely to be a common nighthawk. You might see them just by themselves or in groups. They will migrate in groups during the day. So keep an eye out for them. And if you're by the water, We will have some different waterfowl flowing through, things like common loons, red-throated loons, which will be here in the winter months. This is what they look like in their breeding plumage, but right now they are not going to be in their breeding plumage, so they don't have that red throat like their name suggests that they would have. We'll also have birds like horned grebe coming through, and again, not in their breeding plumage. This is what their breeding plumage looks like, more brightly colored. But this time of the year, they are going to be a little bit more drab in color. You might also see something called a brant, which is similar to a Canada goose. They're in the goose family. But they have a much shorter bill than your Canada goose will, and they've got that little bit of a white patch on the neck, and they have a very pale belly, which contrasts pretty obviously with its dark chest and neck. So the head, the chest, the neck of the brant are all very dark in color, and their body is quite a bit lighter. Common goldeneye we'll have here throughout the winter months. We'll start to see them flowing in. Things like bufflehead, be on the lookout for them. Pintail, especially if you're spending any time over by Montezuma, if you drive through there to check out what kind of waterfowl are coming through. Keep an eye out for all of these types of birds. You might see them all. And then there's things like redhead, which we will have here passing through. And white-winged scoter we'll have all winter long. So a sign of the colder months coming ahead. The birds kind of come with that colder weather. So we always want to know what kind of things you are seeing. So definitely let us know. Send us your pictures. And if you are in the area, absolutely come in and take a look at all of our photos we have for our photo contest. Like I said, we've got our Customer's Choice voting happening right now, and that goes through the end of the day Sunday. And we will be announcing the winners of our photo contest next Tuesday morning on our broadcast that we have here at the same time next week. So keep an eye out for that. But we will also be back on Saturday with another live stream. So until then, if you've got photos, send them in. We'll share them with you all on Saturday. And we will be back soon. So everybody have a great week, and we will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.